For some perspective on all this, we turn to the Washington Post's Amber Phillips. She writes about politics for the newspaper's political analysis blog, The Fix. Amber, good morning.
Good morning.
Help me out here, Amber, because I'm a little puzzled by this week. And because it looked like the White House had a number of opportunities to put a period on this whole thing and elected not to.
Exactly. I think this whole thing started Monday when a reporter asked President Trump, why haven't you spoken out publicly about these 4 men who died in Niger almost 2 weeks ago at that date? President Trump reacted the way he always does when he feels like he's in a box, which is to get defensive right away and attack politically. And in that attack, he obviously accused falsely President Obama and former presidents of not making calls. And all of this set the stage or really primed it for like a political battle to just blow up over this incident. And that's what we saw Tuesday in a totally separate incident with a phone call, his fallen service members, and now we're ending the week with Democratic lawmakers calling the White House full of white supremacists, and the White House reacting by saying, how dare you question a general? And it just kind of is all degraded so quickly.
Amber, how much of an issue is this for General Kelly, who thus far has been almost the most untouched member of the Trump administration? The fact that he did get the story wrong about Congresswoman Wilson, is that an issue for him going forward?
Right. Yeah, I think that his reputation has been dinged this week, because you're absolutely right, Alex. Like, he was perceived as someone who came in to help straighten up the White House, right? To help keep the president out of this exact kind of political feuds we're talking about. And here he is injecting himself in the middle of it. And as you said, making false claims in the process and doing a very Trumpian thing, quite frankly, of refusing to back down when he gets facts wrong. It's a remarkable thing for this general that doesn't really match up with what we know of him.
And who gave some incredibly moving anecdotes and testimony about what it is like to lose a son in battle.
He did.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Thursday night, Senate Republicans passed the fiscal year 2018 budget resolution, which now allows the GOP to move forward on tax reform without Democratic support or threat of a filibuster, correct?
Correct. We're exactly where we were when Republicans were trying to pass Obamacare. It failed. It failed, and it is a very real possibility this exact same thing could happen with tax reform. And here's why. They're trying to do it without Democratic votes, and so they're kind of locked into this procedural box where they can only spend a certain amount of money. In this case, it's a lot of money for conservative Republicans, $1.5 trillion they can spend on these tax cuts. That cuts out a lot of potential votes that they might need from House conservatives. Perhaps moderates are going to say, well, you know what, I want to spend that money, but I don't want to cut taxes here or there. And I think we have a long way to go before any kind of tax bill is a reality, right? We haven't even seen a bill, let alone tax legislation passing Congress just along Republican votes and getting to the president's desk.
But Amber, I mean, the Republican Party has very publicly said, we are going to get this done before the end of the year. What is the political fallout if, in fact, they don't get it done before the end of the year? It's impossible to imagine a major piece of legislation happening in an election year.
Right, exactly. GOP analysts I talked to who are trying, behind the scenes to try to keep Republicans in control of Congress are really, really worried. They say the best thing you can do politically is pass legislation that gets more money into people's pockets and for Republicans gets government, kind of out of people's lives on taxes especially. The worst thing you can do is make a promise and not deliver on it. And you're absolutely right, Alex, that the clock is ticking, because by next year, whatever, kind of beliefs that all these Republicans have, they're going to be more entrenched, right? They're not going to want to back down and take tough votes in an election year.
Meanwhile, this bill, Amber, is largely being fashioned behind closed doors, and it's being hammered out, and we don't know what's in it.
I feel like we're deja vuing the whole Obamacare thing.
Deja vu all over again.
All over again.
Quote the great Yogi Berra.
Yeah, we don't know what's in the bill. We do know that there will probably be some tough decisions on how to pay for a bunch of tax cuts that the White House and Republicans proposed in September in a blueprint, because budget experts estimate that's like upwards of $3 to $5 trillion worth of tax cuts. That's really hard for the Republican Party to say, oh, we're going to blow a hole in the deficit for that. So they've got to make some really tough decisions on how to pay for that.
Amber Phillips, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you.